Friends, Namaskar. I am Sanjay Mansukhani from ChangeDestiny.in. I am a teacher of the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. And dear friends, today we are going to talk about one of the most difficult aspects to understand, called the Trigunas, the three qualities of Prakriti. So what are these Trigunas, the three qualities of Prakriti, and why are they considered difficult to understand? Dear friends, they are considered difficult to understand for the simple reason that we are today affected immensely by the Western thought processes, by the Western ways of thinking. Whereas Samkhya, the first philosophy from India by Kapila Muni, did not have Western people around him, or the West was nowhere in the world of philosophy compared to where Indian philosophy was. So here in this philosophy, it has been said that there are two permanent realities. First is the permanent reality of Purusha, or the soul, consciousness, pure consciousness. The other is the permanent reality of Prakriti, or inert matter, which is constantly changing. So this inert matter, this non-conscious matter, which is constantly changing, Prakriti, has been defined to have three gunas, to have three qualities. And these three qualities are unique. You will not find them anywhere else apart from the Indian religions and Indian philosophies which have come after the Sankhya darshan, the Sankhya philosophy of Kapila Muni. And mostly all of them have spoken about Prakriti. All of them have spoken about the three qualities of Prakriti. So this is a very interesting way of looking at nature. This is probably an out-of-the-box way of thinking. This is what our modern-day thinkers will call it. But if you go into the depth, it is very simple. It is very logical. It is very sequential. And if you stand understanding this concept of the three qualities of Prakriti, you will be able to define the properties of each and every matter which comes in front of you, each and every matter about which you can sort of estimate, guess, each and every matter whose description you have heard from authoritative sources. That is, the Sankhya philosophy and the Yoga philosophy talks of three ways to get right knowledge. So I am talking of those three ways of right knowledge here. The first one is pratyaksha, something which you have seen, heard, perceived through your sense organs directly. That is pratyaksha. The other is anuman, what you can infer logically based on certain observations, certain data which is produced before you. And the third is agama. Agama means verbal testimony, of somebody who is an authoritative person, who is a dependable person in this particular field. So it gives importance, tremendous importance to first-hand experience, that is pratyaksha. And if your first-hand experience is not complete because of any reason, you can infer and get the complete information based on logical inference. If you were not there when that observation, when that perception took place, say you were at another place or in another time, in that case, somebody dependable, somebody authoritative, somebody who is an expert in that field, if he is giving a verbal testimony of what he saw, he experienced, he heard, then that is also considered as important evidence, important input for right knowledge. So dear friends, if you have right knowledge about anything, when I say anything, I mean anything, be it an object or be it a subject, be it something outside you in the physical world, be it something inside you in the mental world. In both these cases, you will find that you can understand completely about that object outside or about that mental construct inside, if you have the ability to understand and appreciate the three gunas, the three qualities of everything in Prakriti, be it physical, be it mental. So that is the importance and power of these three gunas. As I said earlier, the Western world may call it out-of-box thinking, but it is not out-of-box. It is 100% in the box thinking. Only the difference is that the box is not finite. The box is infinite. Yes, the box is infinite. The world outside, the universe outside, the cosmos outside is infinite. The mind, if I may say so, inside is again infinite. You have an individual mind, you have a universal mind, you have a cosmic mind, and you may even have an infinite mind of God. You may even have an infinite mind of Purusha. You may even have a zero mind of Prakriti, because Prakriti is showing complete inertness. So whatever way you are looking at it, in whatever perspective you are looking at it, these three gunas play a critical, crucial role for a yogi, by which he can diagnose, analyze and understand each and every part of this creation. He can start his analysis from something as small as an atom, and he can do his analysis of something as huge as all that matter which is present in this cosmos. In both the scenarios, whether it be the micro or whether it be the macro, both these scenarios would have the three gunas, would have the three qualities of Prakriti. And based on the analysis, understanding and interpretation of these three gunas, one can come to declare the dharma, that is the properties of that substance, of that mental construct. One can even predict the time period in which that object is existing. One can even predict the time in which that mental construct is present. And one can even predict the condition of that object, the condition of that mental construct. So these three these three parameters by which anything in Prakriti, whether the mental world or the physical world, can be defined are called the Dharma, the Lakshana and the Avastha. Dharma means the properties, the characteristics of that substance. Lakshana means the time element of that substance. And Avastha means the physical condition, the outer condition of that substance. Now, instead of a substance, it could be something as subtle as a thought, as subtle as a sound. So, the yogis, with their power of concentration, were able to break through the outer surface of reality, the grossness of reality, the outer coverings of any form of matter, the outer layers of any subject, any mental thought, any mental idea, any mental concept, any mental reality for that matter. So with their power of concentration, they were able to dig further in from the outer layers of superficial reality which a common man observes, which a common man notices, and which a common man experiences. But a yogi will be able to dive deep into the superficial outer layer. He will be able to enter the inner layers, the subatomic layers of that particular Prakritic object or Prakritic element. And he will be able to go to the utmost core of it, to such a level that he will be able to break it down into the three qualities of nature. So, once he is able to understand, see, perceive, measure these three different qualities of nature, he with his willpower, with the power of his buddhi, with the power of his mind, is able to bring about at the mental level a shift in these three qualities, in these three gunas of Prakriti, of nature. And then what happens? Once he brings about this change, the characteristics of that Prakritic object or element change. The time element of that Prakritic object or substance changes. The condition of that Prakritic object or subject changes. The change can be up to any level. It is possible that a clay pot can become a clay saucer. A clay pot can become a gold pot and then a gold saucer. It is possible that iron can be turned into gold. So anything and everything is possible because Prakriti at its very core level is not defined by the way the Western physical world, the world of physics has defined. It is not about protons, neutrons, electrons. It is not about further subatomic particles. It is not about further subatomic particles. It is about these three qualities, these three gunas of nature, of Prakriti. I am sure most of you know what these three qualities are. But let me, for those who are not aware, who have not been initiated into this kind of a philosophy, into this kind of a learning which is unique, which is extremely powerful, which puts you at the command center of this whole creation, this cosmos, this universe, this world, And what is that? So those three gunas, those three qualities are called the qualities of sattva, rajas and tamas. What is sattva? Sattva is a quality of formlessness. Not having a form is sattva. Having a form is tamas. So sattva and tamas are always opposites of each other. So sattva has no shape, no size, no color. Tamas has shape, size, color. Sattva is light, tamas is heavy. So that way one can understand that the formless and the form, they are two opposites. And they coexist in this whole cosmos, universe and world. Wherever you look, wherever you are right now, if you are inside a room, look in that room. You will find that there are empty spaces in that room. And you believe that air occupies those empty spaces. So that's nice. But that air is formless. It is not visible. The second thing is, the room in which you are in, you will find lot of structures out there, lot of shapes, sizes, colors. So all that has form. So these two things you can easily see in the room you are in, if you are in a room right now. And these few things you can see outside also in the world, if you are standing somewhere outside. You will find open spaces, you will find form, structure, shapes. And another quality, the third quality, which I told you initially at the time of beginning my talk describing Prakriti, that Prakriti is constantly changing. So the question is, what is changing? So what has form is changing. It is taking another form. It is losing form. It is becoming formless. And what is formless is taking form, is becoming a form. So this constant change from form to formless, from formless to form is rajas. This constant change from form to formless, from formless to form is actually transformation. So Prakriti essentially has these three qualities: the quality of form, the quality of no form, and the quality of transformation. These three qualities are mixed together, and they are mixed together in differing percentages, in different substances, be they mental constructs, be they physical constructs. So what it means is, it is not something purely physical. Prakriti can be mental, Prakriti can be formless. Look at the open space, look at sky, look at ether. It can be called in a way empty space, but it is physical. It is Prakriti. Though it is formless, it cannot be seen. Now this same space, you will find a comet running through it. So that movement is rajas. That change in space is rajas. And you find that comet has a form, has a color, has a shape, probably has some weight, and it is moving at a particular speed. So these are the qualities which are present in form. So the space out there is formless, has form inside that formlessness, and has change as part of its combined existence. So dear friends, these are the three qualities of Prakriti, these are the three qualities of nature. Now consciousness is available in its purest form in the Purusha, in the soul. But when the Purusha and the Prakriti come together, when this creation starts forming, when the mind comes for the first time as a combination of matter and consciousness, as a combination of Prakriti and Purusha, then from there this creation starts evolving, and from there it keeps on rolling, it keeps on expanding, and Prakriti at its very initial stage, in the nascent stage, in the mool stage, in the primordial stage, has all these three gunas in equilibrium. That is, none of them is hovering, is dominating the other. So form, formlessness and transformation, these three qualities are jumping around, shifting around in such a way that they are balancing out each other. None of them is predominant, dominant over the other. So this is called the stage of equilibrium. And from this zero state, if I can say so, from this state of zero gunas, zero effective gunas, we find that in the very first state there is a predominance of sattva. So the very first guna which plays a major role is the guna of formlessness. This formlessness, as it flows in time, as it evolves in time, it starts acquiring change, it starts acquiring motion. There is a transformation happening now in this formlessness. So this transformation keeps on happening. And what is it getting transformed into? So as we had seen, that form becomes formless, formless becomes the form. So here in the initial stage, since we only have the formless, so if transformation is taking place, that means the formless is acquiring form. The sattvic is becoming tamasic due to rajas coming into play. So if you look at it again, if you look at the four stages of creation, if I may say so, that there are four stages of qualities, four stages of gunas which become evident in the manifested creation from the unmanifested Prakriti. So from the unmanifested Prakriti, the three gunas are in balance and the net result is zero. Then we have a predominance of sattva. Then we have a predominance of rajas. And then we have a predominance of tamas. So the world outside, the physical world, is predominantly tamasic of form. The mental world is predominantly rajasic because the mind is not steady. The mind is constantly dancing, shifting, moving, transforming. And the core stage from where everything has started, let us say the spiritual part of this creation, the spiritual dimension, if I may say so, is sattvic, is very close to sattvic. So this is how Prakriti has these three qualities, and this is how with evolution From no quality, we have the quality of sattva, then the quality of rajas, and finally it ends up with the quality of tamas. A yogi's journey is from the world outside, using the mind back into the spirit. So how is that possible? How can that be done? To do that, you need to first realize that you are a combination of consciousness and matter. And this consciousness and matter have to be separated out. They have to be segregated. A power of viveka or discrimination is required to separate them. The power of knowledge is required to understand how to separate them. So this is what a yogi does. Yogi realizes that he has come on this planet with incomplete knowledge, with avidya. So he goes about acquiring vidya, complete knowledge. Samkhya means complete knowledge. Samkhya is called samkhya. Sam is complete. Kya comes from khyati, which is knowledge. So you find that samkhya or samkhya, because samkhya is a number. So all these complete knowledge is not infinite knowledge. It has been packed in a finite way by Kapila Muni. He has placed them into 25 tattvas, 25 mental constructs, 25 principles, so that complete knowledge can come to any individual by just understanding, contemplating and meditating on 25 principles. And you get to know completely about everything. You get to know completely about the spiritual world, you get to know completely about the mental world, and you get to know completely about the physical world. So once when a yogi starts acquiring that knowledge, how does he do it? He uses the tools of concentration and detachment to do that. Once when you practice concentration and you are also practicing detachment, you gain access to higher and higher knowledge. Not just the knowledge of the sensory world, not just the knowledge which your sense organs are giving you, but knowledge from beyond the senses, knowledge from beyond space and time. This knowledge is called pragya. This knowledge comes through intuition. So a yogi develops these powers with concentration, with detachment, and once his knowledge keeps on increasing and becomes complete, he has the power of complete discrimination now. He can discriminate Prakriti into its three qualities of sattva, rajas and tamas. And once when he is able to break any form of Prakriti, whether subtle or gross, into its three constituent gunas, qualities, he acquires power over Prakriti. He can now change these gunas at will. He can modify these gunas. And once when he changes these gunas, once when he modifies these gunas, he is able to reconstruct matter with new properties. He is able to reconstruct the laws of this universe. That is how yogis acquire power. And after a while, when a yogi has complete power, complete knowledge, and these gunas realize that they are of no consequence now, because whatever state they are in, a yogi will be able to change it at his own will. So they realize the futility of sticking to a particular combination of sattva, rajas and tamas. So this manifested Prakriti, which has these three gunas of sattva, rajas and tamas, starts packing its bags, starts dissolving itself and starts going back to the stage of the Mool Prakriti, to the stage of the primordial Prakriti, to the stage of the nascent Prakriti. And when that happens completely, Prakriti in its manifested form disappears. We find time also disappears. Why? Because time is connected to the gunas. In gunas we have rajas, which constitutes change, transformation. So time is connected to Prakriti because of this relationship. But if the gunas have disappeared, when the Prakriti has disappeared, when there is nothing to be seen and there is nothing to observe the scene, that means the mind has gone, the world has gone, then what is left? Just two entities are left. The soul in its pure state is now free, is now liberated from Prakriti forever. So the gunas have completely disappeared. The time has completely disappeared. Now there is no form, there is no formlessness, there is no change. The only thing now is constant. The Purusha is now permanent, eternal, constant consciousness. And it is all alone. So it is the state of Kevalya. So dear friends, that was the interesting story of the three gunas, and I'm sure this will help you to understand in a deeper way how important role our philosophers, our rishis and munis have played in understanding this existence, and how their understanding, their viewpoint, their interpretation gives you that immense knowledge and power over all that is happening around you. And this is the way by which you can get permanent happiness in your life. And this permanent happiness, once you get, can be shared with your family members, can be shared with the members of your society, can be shared with people of your country and the people of this world at large. That is the prime objective of these talks, so that you get this knowledge and so that we can create a happy planet here in our solar system, in our Milky Way, and we are able to gift this happy planet to our forthcoming generations, to our children. And I think that will be the biggest gift our generation can give to the coming generations. So I thank you for being here and listening to my talk on this particular subject. And I'm sure you will immensely benefit from this and take this message as we have discussed. I pray that you achieve permanent happiness in this single life, and look forward to meeting you again on this talk tomorrow at the same time. Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you, dear friend.